welcome back to 10cast. My name is Johnny Brooks, and I'm joined today by someone I've been waiting to meet for several years now. I'm super excited. He's laughing as I say that, but I'm genuinely really excited for this. Hello, Andrew McClay.
Johnny, thank you very much for having me over here.
Thank you for coming.
All the way to Aberdeen from Belfast. They come over and talk about Thrones. 5 years ago, the show's ended, and I'm still all over the world talking about Game of Thrones.
Right? Like that is the impact of that show.
Yeah,
it's lasting.
Yeah, well, this is it, man. Last year was in Oklahoma. Sometimes I'm like, how did I find myself here in Oklahoma? This is mental, like, you know.
So you get like imposter syndrome.
Oh, all the time. One of the biggest things was going to Comic-Con.
Right.
So we've been Comic-Con and people are asking to, I suppose, getting my photograph taken with people isn't, weird. That's no problem at all. It's whenever they ask me to sign a picture of myself.
Right.
And the Comic-Con are going, no, well, you charge $50 for this. And that's how it is. And they give me a helper to take that $50.
Really?
So, like, I was just signing it going, I can't believe any people, but then going, oh, here you go, no problem, personalize it and stuff. I just couldn't believe anybody would pay $50 for me. Autograph, cool.
And actually, that was how we kind of met, for lack of a better word, was through Cameo, of all places. I think it was probably pre-COVID, if memory serves. It was ages ago.
Yeah.
Reached out on there to get a video message. And it's, come to fruition that now you're here in Aberdeen after, I think you said it was a lonely flight. There was no one else on the plane.
No, there's nobody else now. I stretch out my class. Hey.
Yeah, we organised that just for you.
Oh, did you? Lethal. What care and attention.
Oh, yeah.
Glad I'm here.
So we're here ahead of the event tomorrow night, but we're going to kind of leave that out of the interview because for people that are there, we want to create some FOMO for people that weren't there. We don't want to talk too much about what goes on. It's secret. It's been described as cult-like. So whether that's a compliment or not, we'll see.
Oh, man, that sounds nice and weird to me. That's great.
And we've got another show on tonight that we're not running, but we're going to see.
Yeah.
Can you remember the name of it? I can't even remember what it's called.
It's death in dance form. So it's people dealing with death in dance form. Johnny asked me, what would you like to go and see? And I was all, I'm going to look the maddest shit up ever. And that's what it did. And I was all, I'm into this. Let's go. What do you call it now? Melt some minds.
I like it. I like some kind of weird, subversive, especially because it's got kind of a gruesome edge to it, but also it seems like there's more beneath the surface. Like it's got hidden meaning.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty to think about and talk about over a beer.
Yeah, that's it. Definitely, yeah.
That'll be fun.
Check that out, man. Avant-garde theatre is the best type. You know what I mean?
I just love live shows. It's, even though actually we're here to talk today about recorded, produced shows, we've been talking about this as a team recently, but I feel like there's something really special about the energy and the atmosphere that you get doing something live, the connection with an audience.
Oh, yeah. That's why I do theatre. It's mental. I absolutely love that. And theatre's always something that I'll always do. You know what I mean? As well as TV and film, so.
I read that actually on your, I think it was IMDb, I can't remember, but it said that the real reason you got into performing was because of that relationship between audience and performer.
There's experiences in my life where it's almost like drugs, man.
Yeah.
And that is whenever you're out on stage and you're in character and you are, that you have the audience's attention and they are open and
you're there.
There's just this weird, and it's class, and it just, you come off stage and you're just like, this is why I do this. This is awesome,
I actually was watching the David Beckham documentary on Netflix a few days ago. I was rewatching it, and I think it was Rio Ferdinand said, he was talking about when you score a goal in front of everyone at Old Trafford. He said, if you could bottle that feeling up and sell it, you'd be a billionaire.
Oh, aye.
And I liken that to exactly what you just described.
Yeah.
Even if it's not 20,000 people at Old Trafford, it can be 20 people at the Arts Centre, or
Oh, yeah.
you know, as you say, avant-garde, or even just small indie production. In actual fact, especially with small indie production, because you then almost see the reaction and notice more individual buy-in from the audience. You know?
Aye. And I think it's just whenever you go to see those type of shows, as long as you just go on with an open mind, it will speak to you.
Yes.
Some way. It really will, like, you know, so.
So we'll do a follow-up review of the show.
Aye. Oh, man, it was not right after that. You know? Aye. Good.
And so, kind of going back to the thing that brought us together initially, is this mutual love for the show Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Right? We both love it. We both love the franchise, the books, everything. We're both, for lack of a better word, massive fucking geeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you are... I'm a geek who watches it. You're a geek who was in it.
Yeah. Aye.
Tell us about that. How did this journey begin for people that have no idea who Andrew McClay is? How did you get to sitting here today and doing all these cool things?
I'll tell you about that, but I'm going to tell you about how, because it just, whenever you were talking about that, this came into my head. So you had a lot of production staff working on the show, ADs or assistant directors. They were basically extras coordinators.
Okay.
And they used to come down, and I always remember we were doing The Long Night, which is in season 8 of the show. And none of the assistant director department watch Game of Thrones.
Really? Is that deliberate?
It's deliberate for the simple fact, Johnny, that they're there all the time, every day. You know what I mean?
Kind of sick
They're
of
like
it.
there, aye. So I was talking to a lot of them, and they go, what we do is we wait until it's over and then really give it a good amount of space, and then we'll go and watch it.
Once it's kind of
Aye.
passed over them a bit.
Aye. It's not that they're like, fucking dragons, hey, I'm not watching this. It's more like because they're just constantly working on it. But
Yeah, a bit of work-life separation almost.
that's it. So they were, one of the extras coordinators, he was down and he was in front of just us. There's a big army of fellas and all. And he was like, right, lads, the army of the dead are coming, right? Fucking, you look left and you see all of the Dothraki coming there, and they're, and he was looking for the name of their swords, and he was like, Andy, and I was all, they're called Araks. Araks, brilliant, thank you, Andrew. All the Araks just light up, right? And like that was like one point wherever I was like helping some of the crew. They're like, we were, I'll tell you this one. We were up the front of we had to film standing there waiting for the army of the dead to come.
Right, like they could have anticipation scenes. Yeah.
And down lands Miguel Sapochnik, who's the director, showrunner of House of the Dragon. I'm sure he'll forgive me for saying this, but fuck it. He was like, okay, guys, this is the way he talks as well. I can't help but talk like him when he says, comes, okay, guys, right, you're about to be 120,000 fucking zombies are running at you, yeah? You can feel like the rumble you can't see them, but you can feel the rumble in the ground. Can you see something? No, you can't see something. But give me that, right? And maybe, because the zombies, you can smell them, right? And I had to go and put my hand up. And he was like, Andrew, what is it? And I was all, they don't smell, Miguel. They don't have a scent. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was all, John Bradley, who plays Samuel Tarley, was about 4 people away from me. And I had to say, well, Sam in season 1 actually says to Lord Commander Mormont, whenever the 2 whites are brought in through the gate and through the wall, that they have no scent about them, they don't smell. And he was like, Miguel just looked at me, And I was all, I'm gonna get fucking fired for being a smart arse. And he just pointed at John and goes, is that true? And he goes, fuck yeah, but I forgot about it. John Bradley was, I forgot about that. And he was just, but that is true. And like, thank you, Andrew. Great. And I'm going, no, they do not smell. And I was like, fuck on, Jesus Christ, class.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
and it's
stuff
great
like
that the director actually appreciated your insight rather than, you know, we both know this working in the same industry. Ego is a massive thing, and some people can't handle feedback, criticism, being wrong. So it's great that they actually took that on board and used it to enhance the scene rather than just as a nuisance.
Yeah, well, it was, I think everybody by the end up, man, knew that I was just like mental. I mean, like, I would have boys coming up to me and going, "Hi, Andy, there's a boy over here reckons he knows more about A Song of Ice and Fire than you do." And I'm like, "Will you tell him to come over here?" And like, I just whop him. And then it's like, oh, and they'd be like, oh no, go you back to reading the books on set, you madman, right? So, but your original question, was how did I get into Thrones? I had read the books, man, since I was 13 years of age. My brother, I was still, though, very dyslexic. My brother read me Lord of the Rings. And he goes, right, did you like that? And I was like, oh man, that was amazing. Loved that. And then he was like, right, I'll bring you another book in and we'll start on that one and stuff. And I'm like, right then. So my brother, big fantasy head, like major league. And he said to me, look, I brought you in this one here, Song of Ice and Fire. I read it. It's pretty good, look. And I'm going, right, we're at Game of Thrones, the very first book. And he read me the prologue to get me what he caught. So it's pretty much the same as in the show, with the introduction of the White Walkers.
Yeah, like the guys who are out beyond the wall.
Will and Garrett and Weimar Royce, they're all beyond the wall and stuff. And he read me that, and I was like, fuck. What? Well, what are them boys? And I was kind of trepidatious about getting on this Song of Ice and Fire because I was like, right, well, if Gandalf ain't in it, I'm not really bothered, you know. But like once he started, he read me that, and then my brother said to me, look, I can't read you all of these. You're going to have to read them yourself. You're going to have to get through this one yourself. So I must have read every page 4 times.
Wow,
so it would sink in, you know. And I just fell in love with them. Just waiting and waiting for the next books to come out. You can imagine what it's like for fucking Winds of Winter.
How long has it been for that?
Very long time.
7 years?
I stopped counting, Johnny. I stopped counting. Well, I don't know what's going to happen there.
Do you think he'll release it before he leaves the earth, shall we say?
No idea.
Because that's my... It's a silly thing to say, right? But my gut feeling and my worry is that George R.R. Martin, legend, will potentially pass away before he even finishes the work.
Well, yeah, that's a lot of people talk about that online and stuff like that. God knows what George could be planning. He has The Winds of Winter to come out yet, and he also has A Dream of Spring, which is the final book, like, you know, so... unless he could have plans of I have them both written, and I'll release them together or something, or
could have subvert everyone's expectations.
Or God knows, man. But I would say that it is simply the normal way of. He's find it very difficult to finish because the books are mental.
And there's so much, detail, continuity, accuracy, and it's one of, I think, a few franchises where the fans kind of actually, to what you're saying, they care as much or more than even some of the people creating it. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean, it's got such a love from its fans that we invest in it in a way that even the creators will go, shit, we didn't realize that. Because And it's not for a lack of care on their part.
Yeah.
It's that we care so much. I liken it to Harry Potter, where it's very rare that a franchise of any kind grasps, a culture, a subculture that intensely.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this recently because Miriam Margolyes had said something about, Harry Potter fans need to grow up already or something like that.
Yeah.
I kind of, not to have a dig at her, but I don't agree with that at all. I think it actually, to go way off on tangent here, it forms part of your identity as a child that you take with you into adulthood. And I think Game of Thrones did the same thing for adults. It latched onto us in a way, especially because of the time frame, 10 years plus 15 years, I can't remember, between first season to last episode, it was a long time.
11 years.
11 years. That's a long period of people's lives. I can remember parts of my own life based on what season we were waiting for and what we were talking about when we went into school. Did you see that? Well, we won't say in case someone, because someone will still be watching it and say, "Oh, you've spoiled it."
Oh yeah.
But anyway, back to you. I would like to know, kind of, we saw you, or a lot of people saw you in the documentary about making Game of Thrones. It was Beyond the Wall, I think it was called.
Oh, The Last Watch.
The Last Watch.
Here,
Beyond the Wall.
hold on, because I've just realised that I haven't even answered you how I got on this. So we'll do that, and then we'll do the documentary.
Yeah, let's do that.
So getting into the show, just read the books all my life and stuff. Was always a theatre actor and things like that. I was living down in a place called Letterkenny in Donegal, and I was up probably watching The Sopranos for about the 5th time through, and Sky Atlantic, and then I saw what you would call maybe like a teaser trailer for Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But all it showed you was like a flash, and there was Sean Bean sitting on this big throne of swords, and then flash, and then Jaime Lannister sitting on that guy. I was like, what is this? And then it says GOT coming soon.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, is that? And I didn't think anything about it, and then the proper trailer came out for it. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that they've made this into a TV show. So they made it. So watch season 1, and I just repeat. My flatmate was coming in. He's actually from Paisley in Scotland. He came in, and he's all like, "You all right there, Paul? Because you're watching this TV show for about the fucking 5th time through." And I'm going, I managed just that good. Then I got him into it, and then sitting there one night watching Sopranos, and sitting there one night, and I was watching the episodes, and up came, I was just sitting there going, "Fuck, that's so good." The credits came up and it said filmed in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Now, Johnny, this is at the time, man, I was a latecomer to smartphones and like on the internet and stuff like that there, so I didn't know gossip or anything. I'm not sure at the time there would have been many gossipy kind of
like forums.
This is coming out, and So it's filmed in Belfast, Northern Ireland. So I just turned to my flatmate and I was all, "Paul, I'm sorry, but I'm leaving. I'm going. I'm moving to Belfast, man." And moved to Belfast, and I think by the time I had everything sorted out, that got me on in season 4 of the show.
Okay. So how long was that from the moment you had that conversation with your flatmate?
Oh, well, there was finishing, getting my job finished up. Then, of course, it was telling my mother, "Look, it'll be all right, Why are you moving to Belfast?" I says, "Oh, there's a job up there. Good hours, and it's regular, and that." Couldn't have been a better. It couldn't have been a worse lie, like, you know what I mean? Totally irregular hours, and sporadic working days and stuff. But moved up, and like I hunted for a house as close as I could get at the Titanic Studios.
Right.
got one at 20 minutes away. It was a shithole, but I didn't give a fuck. I was like, it doesn't matter. Then just going, right, what do the extras look like in Game of Thrones? Well, they're big bearded and they're mean looking. Right then, grow me beard. Get all sorted there, round to the brother's house and all, take a picture. Just like me. Look at this. And take a picture.
I can do that down the lines for the viewers.
Right, this picture then went up onto the extras department website, and I felt I had to do that because they do cop shows, and I didn't want to be juror number 5 or thug, henchman, whatever in the background. So made myself as Thrones looking as possible.
So is that why you had the beard then?
Oh, aye, man.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And then
you pulled it off in such a way that I actually just thought, God, he really just happens to look like one of them.
Oh,
so it
aye.
was fully, done on purpose.
Oh, aye, yeah.
Wow, okay.
My Stannis beard, because obviously it was in the Stannis Troopers before it was in the Starks. That was like short and cropped. And then, which there's a good point to that as well. I'll get back to. Hopefully, I'll put that over there. I then put my photograph up online, and within 5 days they called me, and I don't remember a time in my life when I was that fucking buzzing. My tutor at our drama college was like, right, we're away to see this big show. It's fucking 2.5 hours long, and it was Chekhov's The Seagull, and I'm not exactly a big fan of that. And we were all like, I'd just gotten a phone call beforehand. I was hyped. Right, everybody, let's go in. I was just sitting in the seating bank. Yes. And then I had to sit and watch the show going, I can't wait to get out of here and tell people I'm going to be and, so that was the start of it then. And I guess because I was always just, whenever I was on set, I was on fire, man. Like, properly loving it. I couldn't wait to be there. It doesn't matter the days I only had 4 hours sleep. I was turning up. I was buzzing. Let's fucking do this. You know what I mean? The more and more I did that, the more and more the staff were like, this boy makes our jobs fucking 10 times easier.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There was times at the Battle of the Bastards whenever, Miguel Sapochnik, we were doing battle charging and all, and Miguel Sapochnik was losing the plot. All the boys were knackered, but at the same time,
it's hard going, right?
Whenever he was shouting action, they were like, that's not going to work. So I just went, fuck this, and walked out in front of him and all, and started going mental and all. Fucking, she's going on. They're fucking taking everything. They're fucking taking everything from us. Let's fucking kill him. And even Kit Harington's on his horse going, is he okay? But all the boys are like, yes. And I remember just looking up the hill going, Miguel, fucking hit the camera. We're gonna go. And he was all, let's fucking do it. Quick. And he was like fucking hitting the shots in, like, you know what I mean? So it was like, the more and more that happened, I just became more and more part of the production. And I had other jobs while I was there as well. I worked in the costume department, scrubbing armor, because I don't sew at all. So they were looking for people to come in and help. Which this was at the end of the Battle of the Bastards. You got 500 extras,
big sweaty men,
all waiting to go down to get a coach, which will take us into Belfast it's the last day, and we're done now as soon as you get out of Titanic Studios. And we were all queuing up for these buses, 500 of us, and out comes Sienna, and she was like the head of the costume department. She's tiny, like, so all I saw was the fucking upside down chair, right? It landed in the middle of the crowd, she got up on top of the chair and she's like, guys, can I just want to ask you a question. Listen, we have had a very, very busy battle. Okay, but what's going to happen is that we are understaffed. Does anybody here want to come in and help out in the costume department? My hand couldn't, I nearly broke my fucking arm, dislocated my shoulder, put my arm, like I looked around, 499 men with their hands in their pockets.
Right.
And I was like, you fools, right? Landed in, got myself a sweet ass crew pass. The amount of stuff I saw, I just thought to myself, this is instant access to the studio every day. There was always something going on. Fucking, they're making heads explode. They're recording fucking, what I can only describe as flamethrowers on top of cranes in front of green screen. So the camera's moving around the track, and the head of the flamethrowers moving as well, but they're recording dragon fire breath.
Right.
Like, you know, I'm like, man,
It's cool.
this is fucking awesome.
And you mentioned
Go ahead.
Kit Harington,
Yeah.
who was on his horse in the Battle of the Bastards while you're kind of giving your pep talk to everyone. In the documentary, the behind the scenes, we saw you and Kit form a little bit of a bond, you could say.
Aye.
How was that? What was it like to kind of be, you know, I would probably feel starstruck.
Very first time I ever met him, I did. Very first time I ever met him. And that was in a place called Clandeboine Estate. And the scene we were doing was Mance Raider is about to attack the wall for the second time. And of course, on lands Stannis Baratheon. So I'm part of his crew running, and they kicked all these wildlings' asses. And so very first day on set, we were all brought down, and it's the scene where Stannis comes out and arrests Mance, basically, for calling himself a king beyond the wall. And then the very first time I saw Kit Harington, I was like, fucking no way. No way. But I think, I think that didn't last too long, because I had the mental fortitude to go, there's Kit Harington and there's Jon Snow.
Right.
Not every extra got that. And the great...
What do you mean when you say that?
I mean, Johnny, I mean what I say. I mean mad fuckers going up to him and going, all right, John.
Oh, that's not what I thought you meant.
Oh, that's what that is, man.
Actually not realizing he's not the character.
Oh, man, like, you
Wow.
wouldn't believe. Like, it's like, I think, who was it as well? Jack Gleason, who plays Joffrey Baratheon. He was getting punched and everything.
Yeah, I can believe that.
People are mental.
Jack Gleason's a really interesting one because, and I don't like saying interesting because that kind of trivializes what was probably quite a traumatic experience, but his performance as Joffrey was so good. I mean, to the point where I think he was the most hated TV villain of all time, at least one of the top three.
Yeah.
But he got so much abuse and kind of so much association with that character, he left the acting industry. You know, I think he's a teacher now.
Oh, he's coming back.
Is he?
He is coming back.
Good.
He, I think, didn't take it, the whole fame thing. He found it weird, but especially the whole cult of personality thing, where
Right.
he was treated like...
Yeah, as if he was...
You know, he did... Anyone I ever spoke to who was a King's Landing extra, you can tell them, terrible muscle tone, no beards. Because they're all working down in lovely, sweet-ass King's Landing. But those boys were saying, like, he sometimes, as well, in a couple of scenes, would, after, be like, "Dee Sophie Turner, I feel terrible for saying this stuff to you and having to act this way." And I was all thinking to myself, that's amazing.
Yeah,
because
lovely
if
guy.
you feel like that, man, you are so into your character that you don't even, whenever the camera's on, you don't even twig that. You know what I mean? That's mental. That is mental. And of course, Ewan Ryan, who played Ramsay Bolton, like, I never met Jack, but I met Ewan. And I mean, just one of the fucking nicest human beings ever. But whenever the camera went on, whenever the camera's off, nice little round moon face. Hey, hello
and then
guys.
it becomes daggers.
We watched him one day, heating up in the character and stuff, and he was smoking a cigarette. And guys were saying, like, "Oh, we're going to go for one." Yeah, and he's like, no. Finished his cigarette, put it down, and he put his head down. And as he lifted his head up, his face was sharp, and you could see it's this evil delight in his face. And we were just sitting, looking at him, going, "This is mental, man. This is like properly. It's like he's moved the bones around in his fucking face."
Why?
To be like fucking totally sharp. It's mental. So he was a legend. He was a really nice guy.
And you've just reminded me actually of a funny story I was told by Ian Beattie, who I don't know if you'll have met on set.
Man, Ian Beattie lives up my way in
Does he?
Belfast. Aye, man. Ian's a sound header. Right?
He's brilliant.
I've done theatre with Ian and stuff. Aye,
he's just class. And it was as you were talking about, playing a horrible character and finding it hard. Yeah. I remembered what he was telling me. He played Game of Thrones. I think has Joffrey, Ramsay, and Ian Beattie's character Meryn Trant. Are all so despicable, more despicable than you normally find in other TV shows combined. Yeah. But he was telling me about when he was on set, he'd go out for a cigarette break or whatever, and he'd kind of made it known to the other actors, "I don't want spoilers because I actually watched the show. Don't tell me what's happened." Yeah. And for maybe 4 or 5 seasons, it'd been okay, not getting anything spoiled. And Charles Dance, the icon that is Charles Dance, Tywin Lannister, struts out of the set where they'd been filming. I think it was a King's Landing scene. Out to where they're all having their cigarette. And he goes, "Light, cigarette." And Ian hands him over the stuff. And he's wearing like a dressing gown. And Ian, I think, is thinking, "Oh, weird. They must have had maybe like a scene with nudity or a cold scene or whatever. I don't understand this." And Charles Dance just turns to him and goes, "Well, little bastard finally got me."
Oh, yeah.
It was after he'd been killed by Tyrion. And he was just like furious.
I can imagine as well. I can imagine Ian, hey, big time. Well, I can
amazing.
Imagine his nose just turning fucking red on him.
But it's that kind of, you guys really do form like a family when making these productions, these shows, whether it's a local theatre show, whether it's a Hollywood movie, or whether it's Game of Thrones. Production teams become like family, I would say.
Yeah, very much so. I've worked on other TV shows, but that was something different. Like I've worked on Vikings and all these other TV shows, but Game of Thrones was something different. And I think it's because we were all in it together for months and months and months.
Or years.
For 15 hours a day, so you're just, everyone's in the same boat. The actors were sound, the production team was sound, because I always find that's the difference between movies and TV shows. Movies come in and they're there for 3 months and they're like, "Let's fucking treat these extras like shit."
Right.
Like we're out of here in 3 months. Whereas TV shows are like, "Let's treat them really well because we need them to come back," and they really did. They really treated you well.
And that's why, I think actually to your credit as well, when you go and put in the extra graft cleaning armor or rallying up the guys when they're tired and out of energy, casting directors, producers, whoever, take note of that. And it's, exactly what you said. You made it easier for them. And I actually have a bone to pick's the wrong way to put this, because our industry is generally a good one. Yeah. But almost a point of contention with people that are maybe not in the acting or production world. There's a certain snobbishness, let's call it. As soon as you mention the word extra, it's a kind of, to people that have never done it, it's almost extras, as if you're worth less than the actors. Now I'm not taking anything away from the actors. We sit here geeking out about their talent, but extras are so underappreciated by the outside world. When you watch a show, we kind of overlook them, but actually if they weren't there, The whole world wouldn't exist that the
and
characters
then
live and breathe in.
People think, sure, you can get anybody to do it. Not everybody can do it, Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm telling you, man, I have seen extras coordinators fucking losing the plot, right? And they're like, right, what you're going to do here is whenever they shoot action, you're going to walk over there, you're going to get the bucket, and you're going to bring it back to me, okay? And they're, you got that? No problem. No problem at all. And then action. The fucking walks, man. It's like they've never walked, but you know, I don't even know if you remember the ad for it was for those mints, Mr. Soft mints. They're walking like Mr. Soft across the fucking to get this bucket, and everybody's going, "What the fuck? Get home back and all." Right, listen, just walk. We don't know what you're doing there, right? And they'll just action. They'll do it again, right? Come back, be like, right, that was good. You can go back now, right? And then they'll call one of the veterans down, get the fuck down here. And like the veterans are very good. Like I would be a veteran.
Just natural.
And you'd land down and go, what's a crack? No. I remember like Connor Doherty, he'd be saying to me, need you to fucking walk across here, man, and get that bucket and bring it back to me. That's it. And I'm going, you do know I was established in a different scene, no Connor. So it'll fuck it up, man. And he's all, were ye? And I'm like, aye. And they always trusted the veterans. They'd go, the veterans, like, you know, you would get new guys coming in who want to be famous, who want, I just want my face
Screen
on this.
time.
And they wouldn't say anything to the extras coordinators. They would just try and get as many shots as possible. Doesn't matter if it fucked continuity up. You know, but the veterans, we would be like, no, man, the show's the most important thing here. We want this to look good, and I don't want to appear in two fucking places.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, I work that way. And I do believe you asked me how I got involved in the documentary. I'm trying to keep a mental note of these questions because I bust on the tangents, Johnny.
I was going to ask you, have you ever seen Still Game? The Scottish program?
Yeah.
There's a reason I ask, which is one, the people don't know this yet, but we'll put it out after the fact.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, you're going to be on a panel for us with Jane McCarry, who played Isa on Still Game, as well as a few other legends from sport and TV. But we've got this scene in the show where, have you seen the episode? It's called Blighty's Hardest Boozers. It's so funny. They're basically, the Klansman pub is being used as one of these like documentary shows about like tough pubs where like fights happen and all that, you know. And all the guys are kind of hamming it up to try and get on the telly because they want to be, you know, put out there as hard men. And they've got this shot where Jack and Victor walk into the pub. And Bobby, have the McGills been in? And they pull out these swords, put them on the desk, and everyone's kind of acting a bit like you describe, unnaturally. And Winston, played by the amazing Paul Riley, walks in, kind of goes, looks right down the barrel of the lens, and just farts. And kind of waddles back out. And obviously it's kind of satire, right? But that is honestly true. I mean, I've tried filming indie stuff with my friends. Now, okay, they're my friends. They're not actors, and they would never pretend to be. But it's amazing. You ask a normal person, walk from there to there, throw that, and come back. And every single muscle in their body will move differently to normal. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, I remember working on a production called Rain, REI. You know, like Rain as in a Queen's Rain.
Yes.
You know, we were down in Dublin at a place called Powers Court and stuff. So my mate had rang me. She was like the extras coordinator on that, and she had everybody who had a beard was working on Vikings. At the time, I wasn't. She rang me in a panic and said, listen, do you have any fucking beards that I can use for this goddamn TV show? They're all working on Vikings. So I says, let me do a quick call. So I start ringing round, boys. Managed to get 10. And she was like, 10 will do. They all bearded and mental looking. I was all, these are the maddest looking fuckers you've ever seen. She's all great. So I brought them to this production, Rain. And we arrived down Powers Court is amazing place, a big waterfall in the background and stuff, but they'd set up this like village. So we all dressed up as Highlanders and like, on all this kind of stuff and it's Mary Queen of Scots. So we landed down and there and the director came out and he's like, oh, great, extras, thank you, nice one. So guys, what's going to happen here is you are Highlanders and this is a Druid village. And what's going to happen is you are going to run into the Druid village and you're going to kill the Druids, okay? We were standing there going, sorry, man, I got a question. And he was like, yeah, what is it? And I was all, fucking Druids, man. Fucking Druids. And he goes, oh, yeah, what? And I was like, Mary Queen of Scots and Druids, it's not the same time frame.
Or part of the world or anything.
What are you talking about? He was like, this goes out in Canada. And I was like, all right, say no more. That's it. So they'll buy any old shite. They're Yanks and the Canadians, they'll buy any old shite, like, right? But what had happened was then, it was really great, so you're going to run down in and kill these guys. And they're like, right then, no problem at all. So usually what we have then is the head of stunts coming along and going, right, boys, let's take you down, let's get you choreographed, and let's get you looking good. And like we were like, where the fuck's the stuntman at? There was no stuntman. There was no head stuntman. There was no stuntman. And we were like, what the fuck? And it was all like, right. And we really had I talked to the rest of the boys and I said, listen, we're going to have to go in and talk to these boys who are playing the Druids and give them a crash course in sword fighting. One of the biggest things is the extras come on and think it's fighting instead of dancing, which it is. It's choreographed dance.
They're trying to actually fight rather than put on a show.
And like, you know, rehearsing in percentages. So like, because if you don't do that, you come down at 100%, it looks shit, and you end up fucking cracking somebody across the head. Mm-hmm. So we choreographed all of this here type of stuff. So we went up for the very first shoot, and we just keep on fucking we're not just cutting fucking people, you know. And the boys are great. The Druids are great. They're all falling all over the place. And cut. The director goes, where the fuck did you guys come from? Where did we get you? And like we were like, we all work on Game of Thrones. And it was all, do you fuck? And I was like, no, I am. I know, yeah. And they're like, that's where we learned all this shit. And they're like, brilliant. These are fucking best extras ever. Fucking hell. You know what I mean? So it was like,
you kind of earn your stripes that way, right?
Well, and like, Jesus, what was I overdoing? I was over.
I've got more questions for you, but we're going to take a little break there just for a moment.
Happy days, man.
So we'll be back right after this. We're back. I'm joined still by the amazing Andrew McClay. I'm going to take it.
The amazing Andrew. Nah, leave it on. Fuck it. That's good. The amazing Andrew McClay. Leave that shit on.
Okay, we'll leave that in. So we've had our Nando's. Other fast food brands are available, but we enjoy it. We enjoy our Nando's. We're refreshed. We're hydrated.
Yes.
And we're ready to pick back up. So what we were talking about in the little break there, and something I'm really keen to have you answer on camera, is what was the best moment for you so far on that set? You know, Game of Thrones, amazing people, amazing sets, but what was the best moment off camera?
The best moment off camera? Well, I have to say this because the camera wasn't running at the time, but it's obviously I'm still on set. So we were filming season 6, episode 10. So we just shot Battle of the Bastards. And then there was like maybe 3 weeks off, and then we were all called back in to do the King in the North scene, season 6, episode 10. And so we're standing in a place called the Linen Mill Studios in Belfast, which was Game of Thrones' secondary studio. They had Titanic, which is in the middle of Belfast, and then they had the Linen Mill. Now, the great thing about the Linen Mill was that it was really put aside for heavy dialogue, really poignant,
like performance,
because it's it's specifically built away from flight paths.
Right.
So it is
for sound, right?
the amount of times we'd be filming a battle, fucking playing, boys, how long? And you can just see the staff going, fucking going, go, quick, it's gone, quick, go. And you know what I mean? So we were down there, and in the linen mill, you had the Winterfell's long haul, right? So we were all pulled in there, and I'm halfway up the room. In front of me sit the Knights of the Veil. Behind me, you have the Manderleys. Across from them, you have the Glovers. And across from the Knights of the Veil, who are in front of me, are the Mormonts. And of course, leading the Mormonts is 10-year-old at the time, Bella Ramsey, who, as we all know, now is in The Last of Us.
Yes, absolute superstar.
I mean, man, yeah, you wouldn't believe it. We shot that over 3 days because it was such an important scene. Angles had to be taken care of, everything, you know, and there was different characters talking. It was such an important scene. So it was like over 3 days we shot it. And human nature for any actor is to go, sorry, fuck, cut, can I go again? No problem, go again. Just do it again. For 3 days, that girl did not put a foot wrong.
Wow.
Something else about kids, man. Kids know everything about acting because it's their imagination and they don't give a fuck. Whenever you're older, you have built into all this tension. Am I doing this right?
I never even thought about that.
You doubt yourself. That's why kids are so good, man. Right. And any child that I've worked with on set, I was always, you know, you should never work with animals and children. This whole thing.
Animals, I can kind of agree with.
Well, because they have a mind of their own, and you can't go, all right, Duke, get up here and fucking roll a cigarette, right? But kids, shockingly good. I mean, shocking. Just you watch them, you just don't give a shit. It's effortless, you know.
I think Bella Ramsey in particular is someone that I would love to have on here one day because their performances in The Last of Us in particular, oh my God. Just like, also Pedro Pascal. The two of them, just like
class.
Amazing.
Class.
And we've got a fun fact actually about Bella Ramsey, which I will tell you tomorrow.
Okay.
Now you might join the dots here. I don't want to spoil it. But if you remember, last time we spoke, when I was in here and you were back at home,
Yeah.
there was a certain person with me in here, if you remember.
Aye.
A guy called Jonathan. Now, that's all we're going to say for now. And if you want to know, you'll need to be there tomorrow night. Yes.
That's a good hook.
Yeah, that's a good hook, even though you'll hear this after the fact. But this will make sense tomorrow. It's
awesome.
It's the thing he's going to tell you.
Okay.
And it's super cool.
Happy days.
And I've just got, so much respect for, I think actually, in particular, being a child actor, it's a whole different ballgame. You know, you're under more scrutiny, but also, as we know, the entertainment industry, I don't know if you saw the recent documentary Quiet on Set, just come out. It's all about Nickelodeon.
Okay.
And maybe the dark side of Nickelodeon, you could say. And I just think, you know, not to say everyone's like that, because of course that's not true either.
Aye.
But as children, you're up against a lot in this industry, whether it's, let's maybe put the super dark stuff to one side, immense criticism, self-consciousness about your image.
Yeah.
You'll have people trying to push you a certain way, control you. Did you ever see Black Mirror?
Yes.
Did you see the episode that's all about, it's Hannah, not Hannah Montana, it's Miley Cyrus, but it's kind of all about Hannah Montana
yes.
without calling it that. I just think that's really pertinent because how much of that's going on that we don't know about?
No. I know. From what I saw on Thrones, like they were really well looked after. Chaperones and shooters were brought in for them. We always remember that because you were only allowed to keep a child on set for like 6 hours maximum, and the breaks were like solid in there. So the directors,
like non-negotiable.
Yeah. Once they were done. Like, you know, and like I have to mention this as well. You see this, Johnny? It's just I've done too much on that show to be mentioning one thing. But let's say, for example, Peter Dinklage, Tyrion Lannister, very, very, very good with kids. I mean, amazingly good. Down shooting the crypt scene, if you remember the crypt scene in season 8, where the Night King raises his hands, and of course, all the dead start rising, but all the dead underneath Winterfell as well, and the crypts start rising.
Yeah.
And start chasing all the women and children. Peter Dinklage, from the get-go, went down to them and basically talked to all the kids and says, oh, this game's going... He was like, introduced it as a game. And then he took them all around and met the stuntman. And see, what's your name? And introducing them and stuff. And what are you going to be doing here? Oh, I'm going to be chasing these... So don't, it's all fake. It's all a game.
Yeah.
That kind of way. And like that was all down to Peter Dinklage.
That's really cool.
You know what I mean? He was great.
He seems like an amazing person, but hearing that just reinforces it because, we know that personas and PR are a thing.
So, yeah. Here, before I forget, back day. Best day on set.
Yeah.
So this is what happens. So I'm there and we're all standing around and Miguel Sapochnik, he comes down into the middle of the room and he's like, again, the voice. Okay, guys. Obviously, major scene here. We've got Jon Snow who's being proclaimed the King of the North. Okay. What's going to happen though is Lord Mandalay here. Lord Mandalay is going to get up and give a speech, right? But he's going to then apologise for not turning up to the Battle of the Bastards, okay? And then he's going to look at Jon Snow and he's going to call him the King of the North. And the same with Lord Glover. That's going to happen over here. Lord Glover is going to exactly the same, the King of the North, okay? And then, let me see. Oh, Lord Kerwin. Lord Kerwin here is going to go down on his knees and say, my sword is yours from this day until my last day. And then, and he just stopped talking. He was like, oh, shit, that's right. Extras, background. Who's loud here? Right? And I just went, I'm Lord Miguel, right? And in that instance, I turned around and looked. Nobody else had their fucking hand up. And I was going, do you not understand what this boy is about to do here? I was like, I'm Lord Miguel. Christoph Hivju, who plays Tormund, who's one of my favourite people to work with on set, right? He was there. I'm Lord Miguel. He just looked over at Miguel and went, Miguel, this guy, he's really loud. Right? And I looked at him, and Christoph looked at me and went, hey, like that. And then I was like, fucking hell. And he goes, great, Andrew. We see lots of you at the Battle of the Bastards, so this will work out well. And I was thinking to myself, I haven't even seen the episode, and he's telling me I'm not, fuck yes. But anyway, he goes, so what I need you to do, Andrew, is Lord Kerwin doesn't shout the King of the North, okay? So what I need you to do is I need you to get your sword out, look at Jon Snow, right? And then look at him and then shout, the King of the North! All by yourself. Now, Andrew. And it's the way he looked at me. He said, now, Andrew, is that something that you feel that you could do for me? And I looked at him and went, yep, I can do that. I can do that. And he's all, great, let's set up. And like fucking, I just felt all the hands on my back and all right. And I turned around and I saw the boys going, holy fuck, man. And I'm going, no. I know. If you can get that on camera there's the goosebumps and stuff. Every time I tell that story, I get the goosebumps. I tell it on tour, doesn't matter. I still get the goosebumps, man, because it was so good.
That's awesome.
So we shot it and like came out and sort out the King of the North. And then the whole room just walking, the King of the North, the King of the North, like this. And like, we shot it, we shot it up until lunch. obviously we had to do it over 3 days, but shut it up until lunch. And I was like, fuck, we came out for lunch and I couldn't even eat. It was fucking buzzing. So I just get myself a wee coffee and all. And I'm standing around, right? And I mean, like, I'm fucking moving. I remember, because I couldn't stop moving. I was like, yes, I just can't believe this. Please, it's, it's going to be on the show. It's class. And up comes me mate Stefan. Now, Stefan was one of the crazy fuckers that used to fly into Belfast to be in Game of Thrones. He's from Dusseldorf.
Wow, okay.
And they really ran a risk. Anybody that flew in really ran a risk because they can just change the dates because of scheduling and stuff like that. Next thing then, boys are finding themselves in fucking Belfast with nothing to do. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but these boys did it anyway because they didn't give a shit, right? Stefan, he comes up to me. He's a lot smaller than me. And he comes up and he goes, Andy, can I speak with you? Can I speak with you? And I was all, yeah, man, what's up? He says, well, Andy, it's the way that I was standing next to Kit Harington up because he was on guard duty up beside the main table where Jon Snow's at. You know the way that I was standing next to Kit Harington, yeah? And I'm going, yeah. He goes, right, I was standing next to Kit Harington and you shouted the king in the north, yeah? And I'm going, yeah. He goes, right, well, you know that I would never want to give anyone a big head. I would never want to blow smoke up anyone's asshole, yeah? And I'm going, yeah. He goes, right, well, it's just that whenever you shouted the king in the north, Kit Harington said, Jesus Christ, that guy's really good at shouting the king in the north. And I was all, fuck off, eh? And I was like, yes, no way. And I was all, fucking, just going seal of approval from Jon Snow himself. Like, we shot that over 3 days. I remember, on the third day, going home on the bus. And Johnny, this way I do it, man. This way I do acting. I just felt so fucking alive. And then, anytime that happens with me, and whether stage or screen, I have the best night's fucking sleep ever. I was just so calm, so relaxed, so sure of myself. So what he caught, but it's just the fact that Miguel went, no problem. Andrew gets this. Andrew was at the front of every fucking battle charge. Andrew, whenever I asked the Stark Army, they look across that battlefield and imagine House Bolton and what I was gonna, what I needed the soldiers to fucking act like they were gonna do to them. Mm-hmm. Know what I mean? Andrew was there. He gave me a close up as well, and all the rest of this type of stuff. So it was just like, Andrew gets it. He'll get this as well. Do you know what I mean? So that was the best. That was the best day on set. Then again, man, every single other day is a close second. There's always something going on. And even the days whenever we weren't down on set, you have up to 1,000 maniacs in a big tent waiting to go. I'm a big fan of Ricky Gervais's extras, but at the same time, it doesn't tell you what extra work is like on medieval fantasy shows.
Right.
These boys are there because they want to be there. They're not there because they need a bit of money. They're there because they want a pizza slice and a fucking bit of tinfoil and a big fucking sword. Right? That is it. Yeah. That's what the extras was, man. Holiday camp for full-grown men aged 18 to 60. They were let away from their wives / girlfriends and given a big fucking sword and a pizza. Any man.
Sign me up.
Yeah. So favorite day on set.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's time for us to go and see our show for the evening. Yeah. I'm sure there's way more. Well, there is way more I'd love to ask you. I'm going to save a lot of it for our live show tomorrow night.
Lovely.
And if you're watching this and you have any follow-up questions, things you want to ask Andrew, you can send that to us directly. You can send it to Andrew directly. I'll get him to tell you where you can find him. And I'm absolutely certain we're going to have to do a follow-up to this, maybe even tomorrow. Who knows? But there's so much more for us to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having me, man.
Amazing of you to come here. Thank you for listening. And Andrew, why don't you tell people where they can find you and sign us off?
Oh, you mean on social media and stuff?
Yes.
Well, my social media is at, what is it now? Hold on a minute, because they don't even know my own social media. That's terrible. Sometimes I change my name on there just to get the... I'm Andrew McClay, actor. All the one word on Instagram. So you can see me I do everything from street theatre to film to weird stuff on stage. And so if you're into weird stuff, which who isn't, drop us a follow. Aye, lovely.
Thanks so much.
No worries, man.
See you next time on 10cast.